Let's get moving. It's the Franchisor hot seat coming up next. All right, I'm looking forward to this because first of all, where there's a story, there's a conversation. But let's start with the accidental franchise story. How did you accidentally fall into franchising?
Well, Nick, thanks for having me here. This is Tiam with Let's Get Moving. I think we don't choose what we're good at. That's number one. I think it chooses us. And moving chose me. I was working as a part-time employee while studying business, and I started managing for them a little bit and saw the back end, and I realized moving was definitely a gem, and it generates a lot of money. It's I think a powerful business. It can withstand recessions, good times, bad times, and that's what really made me get into it, kind of learning the back end and seeing how everything is done. And I just wanted to do it really the right way, the proper way. And we opened many locations, after the business hardship, right? It's not easy to start a brand, to get everything going on your own. And it was really tough. Initially, it was really tough getting lots of jobs, getting any jobs was tough. And slowly I started to learn about the business and online and so on. And I started to crack the codes a little bit. And what really helped me was definitely mentorship. I've spoken about this all the time. I had a really good mentor, Lois Massaro. He helped a lot of moving companies and he really changed my life. So I was working with him privately, and we actually grew our business to about 5 corporate locations where we were, just running in different parts of Canada. And we started to kind of work with my mentor as in what are our next steps. And we started to reverse engineer the next 5 to 10 years. And everything that I spoke about to him, it led to franchising. This is obviously what you want to do, right? I wanted to build a community. I wanted to grow the brand. I wanted to help people start a business. And it's been very rewarding because, as an individual, you don't have that much power in the world. But with this business, I'm able to make an effect in people's lives. And it really means a lot to me to be able to see the good side of being able to make a difference in somebody's life. And that really is the biggest part that I resonate with. And that's why I really love franchising, because I'm able to build a community and help these people get to a better place using the name Let's Get Moving. So this is why I love Let's Get Moving and what it's become, because it allows me to help other people. I don't think I would have been able to do anything as an individual, but with this business, it allows me to do a lot.
So yeah, you guys have now? How many locations do you have now?
Nick, I can't hear you.
How many locations do you guys have?
Can't hear you.
That's not good. Not on my side. Are you back? How about now?
I hear you.
Now I hear you. Technology. How many locations do you guys have?
Right now, I run nine corporate locations of my own in US and Canada, about 75 trucks or so. And then we have about 65 to 70 franchise locations that are also in Canada and US that are running their own businesses. But we do all the back end work for them, like the marketing, sales. So we actually book jobs with deposits on them for the clientele, for the franchisees. All they need to do is have the truck, hire movers, and go out there and complete the job and collect the payment. That's all their responsibility. We manage the websites, everything.
All right. So I want to break something down of what I hear. You go into business and you said it wasn't easy. And so you start grinding, and you're grinding to try to find jobs. And then you start cracking the code a little bit and figuring out how we engineer this. And then because you're looking around and you're looking for mentorship, you start figuring out scale, and you go from one location to 5. And you've continued to scale as the corporate entity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I'm hearing what a blueprint, I'm hearing the blueprint that what you're trying to tell other people. Like, you're going to get into this business. It's not going to be easy. Now, obviously, you've built all the back end support, which makes it a lot easier. But you've built this infrastructure, and so you're going to get into business. You're going to grind, and you should have the growing mind or the scaling mindset to get involved here. So now, like if we take your story as the avatar, are you seeing that franchisees are following a very similar path? They don't have to grind as hard as you did because you were building a brand, but are you seeing them scale and now change wealth projections for their family?
Absolutely. I definitely see that. A lot of our locations within their first 12 months, they're getting to 3 to 4 trucks. And that's obviously, a huge growth within 12 months. There are businesses like moving companies out there for 6, 7 years that are not able to get to 2 or 3 trucks. And it all depends on, marketing, the right sales that we have brought over the last 15 years. So yeah, there's definitely a big, possibility to grow and scale this business.
How
and
many
even go to additional locate and buy additional territories and run 2 or 3 businesses at the same time.
Do you have franchisees who are now hitting 2, 3, 4 locations?
I have a couple of franchises who have more than one. I think maximum 2 or 3. But a lot of times the way it works is that they just buy like a location, like a territory is next to theirs, right? And then they can kind of expand that way.
Do you see, like, is that something, do you get to a moment where you want to not shake them, but like wake them up and say, don't get stuck, whether that's at the 2 or the 3 unit mark, like continue to press down, because if you get too comfortable in a lifestyle, you're going to miss out on a big opportunity?
This is huge, because it's funny when we initially talk to people, especially at these franchise shows or when we get a hot lead, the most important thing to us is having that mindset, because this is a business where if we keep doing the back end and you keep growing, getting more trucks, getting more movers, that's how we grow side by side, right? It's not, I cannot do it without them. This is a partnership, and they have to have that growing mindset. And it is really important to us. So we always talk about that in our initial conversations, that these are the type of people who we're looking for, especially in bigger cities that have huge potential and require, 10, 15 trucks and can generate, $5 to $10 million a year. So those are the cities that we need to be very careful of choosing the right partners who have the right capital, the right mindset to actually grow it to its full potential. And it's very important. We have very limited locations, right? So we need to make sure they're given to the right people.
Out of curiosity, during Discovery Day, do you make them work a truck?
Absolutely. When we do training here, there's a 7-day training. We get them to go through every other department with their managers, and they get trained. Obviously, even though we do the back end things, we still want them to know everything and know exactly what we are doing step by step, so that they feel comfortable and confident, and they can focus on their aspect of the business and not worry if we are doing our part or not, right? So it's important to show them. We bring them here in our office. We show them everything we do step by step, and they go on jobs. They drive the truck. They go to downtown Toronto. We take a picture all the time with the CN Tower with them. This is like a ritual.
But before you sign the franchise agreement, are you testing them out with that at all?
Not really, no. It's not really their aspect to know how to do the moving or things like that, right? They need to be the boss, the owner.
Here's why I say it, and I'm going to give you 2 examples. One is, I used to, in our office, I would crumble up a piece of paper and I'd put it on the floor. And I started putting $20 bills underneath them. And once they figured out that I was putting 20s underneath them, all I wanted to see was, do you have the mentality of, it's not my job? And if you have that mentality, it doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm not expecting you to take out the trash at our office, but I am expecting you to be in our community. I have a client, and it's interesting. I'm thinking about this. It's a breakfast brand. I'll say what it's called. It's called Biscuit Belly. And they said their discovery process goes like dinner and drinks the night before, which I think is really important to test how people behave around alcohol. Like, can they actually control themselves, especially when you're trying to convince someone to award you a franchise. True, yeah. Then they do their next day. Now, it's a long discovery process, but after that day, if they're like, okay, we're passing the test, and they're going to go work in the restaurant for that morning. And they're saying, like, our expectation, not that you're going to work in the restaurant every day. Our expectation is that if shit hits the fan, you're willing to do it. And so when I'm hearing, like, I hear your story, all I hear is grit and hustle and perseverance. And so to align that, and it's hard because sometimes it puts a governor on the franchisee, whether you made them do it or not, and said, okay, in this part of the discovery day, now you're going to go pack up a truck. And just to watch what their face is, if they're like, all right, let's do this, then you know that they're golden. If they're like, excuses, my knee hurts, that they're not going to be good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I hear you for sure, man. The thing is that a lot of not a lot, but I have franchisees who I would say maybe a little bit older who might not be able to do the job. So that's why I don't really have it like as a mandatory thing. But yeah, a lot of our franchisees used to own moving companies. So one of our tactics is to kind of get them to turn into a let's get moving. And maybe about 50 to 60% of our franchisees already have owned a moving company. So when they come here, they already have trucks. They already know a lot about the business, and they just haven't been able to crack the code. And they're like, all right, I do a great job on site. I need help in the back end. And those are the perfect partners.
Yeah, you're solving their headache, because most small business operators, and I think, look, most franchisees, let's just say you've had a career in sales. And you're like, okay, I'm done working for someone else. I'm going to take control. And you go into opening up a business and you're like, I'm an expert at sales. And like, cool. But now you got to be an expert in HR and marketing and supply chain and scheduling. They're like, the overwhelm moment happens. And so what you've done is you're taking these more mom and pop moving companies that understand the fundamentals of the process. Yes. You're saying, let's get you, let's get you the tools.
Yeah, they got great reviews, a lot of them, and it's just that they're not able to kind of get more customers, and that's where we come in.
For what it's worth, I think Let's Get Moving is a great communication to conversion, because it's like you've done a great business. Let's get moving. Like, it's time to build something that's going to have value. Like, it actually hits well over there too.
I love that.
Let's shift over to the brand. I mean, clearly we are moving people's intimate possessions. And so automatically there's going to be a heightened awareness around what is the customer experience. But how do you guys stand out as a brand? What's your point of differentiation?
I would say as a brand, we need to do everything right? You want to beat the competition. You want to make a difference. You want to make some noise. You got to do everything right? We got to have our customer service on point. We got to have our reviews on point. We got to have the customer's experience on point. And we have to paint the right image for them when we're explaining the services, so they know what they're kind of walking into, right? It's supposed to be a dream. We come in, we meet you, we've put floor runners, we protect the floors, we come in there, we do a walkthrough, we will protect all your belongings. We will know what are the important items to you so that we can give that extra care to them, right? These are the important things. And whenever something goes wrong, because things will go wrong, right? We have maybe 50, 60 trucks out in my corporate locations on a daily basis, and one or two things goes wrong, right? And we need to always be with the customer and make sure that we fix that experience, because it is a lot easier to keep that customer and keep them coming back, and it's a lot cheaper than them leaving a bad review, going and telling everybody that they don't like us, and so on and so on. So customer experience is really important here, and it all starts with training the right guys. We built a training program. It took us about maybe 3.5 years, and we hired a professional moving company, and not a moving company. They were a company that actually builds processes and systems for moving companies. And what they did, they came in our office and they sat down with our managers. It took months and months, and then we stopped, we implemented franchising, and then we hired them again to build a new training session, right? So now we have training for all the movers, drivers, every single staff that's in the office, and step by step, their responsibilities, how to do it. And this program really allows us to know who's paying attention, who's really watching the training materials properly. There are quizzes right afterwards, after each topic, and we get to know if they've passed or so on. So that's how we train and maintain quality.
Love that. Let's get to the investment. What's the cost to get in, and what does item 19 say? How would you answer that?
Right now, the cost is Not that much. As I mentioned, we manage everything in the back end, right? All you need to start with is one truck, couple of movers, and a small office. And you need materials like blankets, dollies to actually do the job. It is literally as simple as that, as those 5 items as I mentioned, right? And we help you with finding the trucks, finding the offices, and even hiring and posting movers and interviewing them. We help with all those aspects, especially in the initial steps, so that they get up and running and they learn these things and then they can do it on their own. Right now, I would say you would need about 100, maybe $120,000 to start this business, because you're not going to go buy a brand new truck, $150,000 cash, right? We're going to finance it and we're going to let the business pay for itself. And an office is maybe about $1,000 a month. So really everything is quite easy here, where we can get you up and running with very little investment. And you need about $40,000 for the franchise fee. And if the territory is a regular size, it's $30,000. If it's large size, $40,000. That's the way it goes with our franchise fees, and that's all the investment they need.
Do you make an earnings claim in item 19?
Not right now. This is right now. We have our new FDD being produced, so that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, and obviously for a buyer, if they are watching this, they can contact franchisees and gain some insights.
Absolutely.
The regulations behind what you can and can't say is housed within FDD. Let's get to the vision. All right, TM, where does this go? What's the vision for the business? You're a visionary guy, I can tell.
Thank you. Honestly, Nick, my vision is a lot bigger than just money, especially for the franchisees. And let's get moving. We are going twice a year to, I just want to get more franchisees out there, but we are going twice a year to seminars. It's called Tighten Up Training, where there are about 500 to 600 moving companies there. We are always networking and we're learning from amazing speakers. Sometimes I'm even speaking on the stage. So I ask these franchisees to come there so that we can build a community together. We can work together and learn together. And afterwards, these seminars are done. We go out and we all spend time together. Last time I was there, I had like maybe 20 plus franchisees there. We were all sitting together at dinners. It was amazing times. And we were from all over the place, Canada, LA, New York. It was crazy. And we all got to meet each other. We all got to spend 3 days together, learn from amazing speakers. And that's really my biggest vision, to build a community where we can better ourselves. Everybody that's in Let's Get Moving, in our franchise program, I would like to get them to do a lot more with their life. And it's not about just making money here. With us, step one, we make money. And then what? Right? So we want to take that a lot further and take it into these seminars and building a community. But most importantly, we have to better people in every way. It is important to us that we do not amplify a bad personality. When you give money and you give them financial freedom, and that is, let's say, a person with bad qualities, you are just going to amplify those qualities and give them more freedom to be, an asshole. So that's why it's important to be the best version of yourself. When you are growing the business and when a lot of people are depending on you, you have to be a leader for your business, for your family and everything. So that's what I'm trying to build. Leaders in Let's Get Moving.
What a cool statement. I mean, you're taking franchisees to seminars that aren't run by you. You're bringing their mindset up. What I hear there, like above everything, is culture. When we started talking with franchisees, started pooling franchisees back in 2021, we basically started talking about like what pushes you over the edge. There's only two things that push a franchisee over the edge. It's do I align with the culture and can I make money? Like that's the ultimate, the business construct. And so you focus on both of those. You've built a back end support system behind them that takes off some of those headaches and says we can manage that for you. We know how to scale that. And it seems like you're building it the right way. Now, if you were to zoom out and look at all this infrastructure you put in, you happen to be in moving now, but couldn't you take the same infrastructure and cross apply it to another industry?
Yeah, I feel like now I've stepped into franchising and I've really, really loved everything about franchising in every way. And it's come to me many times where I feel like it's not just about, this business, and this can be replicated. Building a community, building a business that makes sense, and doing the back end, having a system that can be automatic machine and just help people. And we go about the franchising aspect. We go about building a community all over again. And yeah, I definitely think it can be done. And I've learned franchising now.
Well, I'm for me two things. I've got to talk to you twice in the last week, which has been great.
Yes.
Secondly, I see what you're building, and I'm looking forward to where the story goes. I think you're building it brick by brick, and when you do it that way and not have some explosive, unrealistic goal, what you're doing is you're protecting the culture and you're adding on to it through franchising. Therefore, at some point when you go and start the next business, I'm going to watch you do exactly the same thing. Because once you figure out franchising and you franchising, you could just keep doing this over and over and over again and still provide a superior experience back to the customer, which is what you're focused on. So, Tiam, I'm grateful for our conversations. These have been great.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing where this story goes.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Of course. For Tiam, I'm Nick. This is another Franchisor